All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone had an amazing weekend. Hope you're having a great morning this Monday morning as we get ready to start our trading week. Good morning, Norm, and welcome back, man.
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I am happy to be back. It's great to talk to you. Great to see
Yes.
everybody else in the room. Thank you guys for the kind words this morning. I'm ready to roll, and forgive me if I'm not 100% caught up on the news yet, but I'm working on it.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. It's good to have you back, man. I hope you enjoy your vacation. And then maybe a little later we could, get into some topics in regards to how things been going for you and talk a little bit about, taking a break off and how that can affect things. That could be a good conversation this morning. So
Absolutely.
as we get started, there was not much earlier. I see two more have popped up over here, so that's good. We got SOLY and GLPG, and then we have X, which tends to be a little choppy. We'll look into the action this morning. So we don't have on Mondays. We usually don't have stocks to review. We review the stuff here. If you're new to the channel, on Tuesdays through Friday, we review the stocks from yesterday, kind of see how they traded, what was good, what was bad, what was ugly. Then we go into our gappers list, try to figure out which stocks are really in play or look interesting for the day, for the open. Usually here you will see two lists. The first list is my priority list I'm going to be watching. The second is usually possible things that I can log into or check into later in the mid-morning. And then down here we have the stuff for the low flow teams. If there's anything in the low flow side that looks interesting, usually I'm not trading these, but we'll look at them just to see how the price action is going this morning. Then we'll look at our top list and NASDAQ active and NASDAQ gainers to see what we can get out of this here and put into our scanners. So since we don't have much to review today, Norm, give us a bit about your time off and kind of how it went.
Yeah, well, as most of you guys know, I took off early Wednesday, the 3rd, right before the holiday. Went to the Bahamas with the family for a week. And, like Andrew says all the time, work your life around, work trading around your life, not your life around trading. And it's so important. I mean, we stare at these screens all day and these charts, and it can become a bit monotonous or tedious. It's especially, I'm sure you've been through this when you have a bad week or a bad month or a bad stretch or a slump, whatever you want to call it. And one of my things to get away from that, if I have a couple of bad days, is to take a break and clear my head. But even when you're trading well, it's just so important to, the reason I do this is to be able to make a living, and spend more time with my family, and do things that I want to do. I love trading. I love being a part of Bear Bull Traders and everything that involves it. But at the same time, I find it, at least myself, sometimes difficult to peel myself away, and it's just something you really have to do.
Yeah, agree.
So it's awesome. I came back in, and I'm going to post a couple of pictures in the room, Carlos, if you would mind pulling them up on your screen.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, I took essentially a week to. I didn't trade at all, didn't really look at the markets in any kind of depth. And then last Wednesday, I decided to go ahead and trade. And I traded, for 30 minutes each morning. And so the first picture I just posted was watching you guys in the pre-market show, and I can't remember what day that was.
Nice.
And the second one was, my trading rig, which I didn't even set up. I didn't even pull it out until Wednesday morning, on purpose. I needed a break. So I kept it. I think that was Wednesday morning, that picture of you guys in the pre-market show I was watching. But, I just needed a mental break. And I'll tell you, when you go back, when you take that break and you come back, your mind's refreshed, your trading's cleaner. So, just remember, guys, I've been through the same thing where I've talked to other traders, and it's not like a job. It's a passion. It's a love. And I remember, and you and I have talked about this a long time ago, a year ago, Carlos. When you first start, you really don't want to take a break. Like, you hate weekends.
Oh yeah.
I remember not hating the fact that I couldn't trade on Saturday or Sunday. As you become a little bit more used to it, it gets a little bit better. But you got to force yourself to take a break, and it refreshes your mind. And then when I was trading on vacation, I limited myself to 30 minutes in the morning. Essentially, took one midday trade. Laid my son down for a nap. Just happened to see, I believe it was Nvidia, and took a midday trade that was like a 20-minute trade while my wife was reading a book or whatever. So anyway, and then I'll tell you the other great thing, risk management wise, about trading on vacation with the family is the last thing you want to do is have a really bad day and
Mm.
then have to go have drinks or lunch with your wife. Oh yeah, I hit max loss or worse or whatever it is. So I'll tell you, you make yourself way more careful about having a bad day. That's for sure. So anyway, just my thoughts, and if you have any feedback or thoughts, welcome to hear it. But just it's important to keep everything in perspective, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Fitting trading into your life and not the other way around is so important. So, but yeah, man, I'm glad that what happened to our scanners here? Glad that everything went well. Glad you had a good time. It's good to take off from the markets here and there and just refresh. Let's bring what happened to our scanners here. Okay, just want to bring our scanners back. So yeah, I remember in this show we used to do the motivation Mondays because we had this space here available. So maybe we'll start doing that again because it's important. Trading is just not about all
Yeah.
technicals. It's a very challenging personal mind game. And that's what it is. So maybe we'll bring back motivational Mondays, bring up some topics just like this one that can kind of set the tone for starting the week off right. So. All right, guys.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's get into it. Let's see what we got here. So it looks like X disappeared from here, but I'm gonna bring it up since it did pop up. So we'll bring up X and see what's going on there. So X at
Whenever we have an X pull up, I always think of Williams X going to give it to you. Recap.
yeah, that recap was great. We got to get the link for that and post it if you have not seen it. So here we go, guys. We have X on here. X tends to be very choppy right now. 114,000 shares traded. It is up 1.2. Was up 2%. I'm assuming because it was showing up in our gappers list, not there at the moment. So we'll keep an eye on it. Not looking great pre-market action wise. Looking at the daily, daily looks all right though. Daily looks okay. The issue with X is the intraday trading that looks horrible, right? So you have a nice little drop here, tested some lows. This could be all-time low. I'm not sure. 1176, 74ish or so, and then we had a nice bounce, and now we're kind of hanging around these moving averages here. So looks like it did a double top here. Looks like you had a double top going on here, and then you had this drop, and then now we have another level here, which is the low of the last trading day. The last two trading days, this was Thursday, and we're getting a bounce. So technical wise, the daily chart looks interesting. We can see what we get out of that. Next on here we have actually, Norm, do we have any news on X, or is it just movement?
I haven't seen anything on X yet.
Yeah.
I apologize.
No,
And it's
no
not
worries,
that there's
man.
not. I'm just, like I said, I'm trying to get caught up. I know some other stuff going on, but
Yeah, no worries. It doesn't look like it's is a lot going on anyways on it, based on just the movement. But if you come across anything, just shoot it out. So we
you got
have
it.
GLPG here. So this one is up 17.7, 173,000 shares traded. Nice little pop up here. Let's see how the daily looks. Daily looks a little funky. Doesn't look like it has a lot of movement throughout the day based on these candles, but again, this looks like it moves a lot because you probably have a couple of $5 candles here throughout the day. ATR $2.61 on this one. A pre-market action looks all right, not great. 174. So not sure what is the situation with this one. Norm, if you have anything on what's causing this huge gap today on this GLPG, we can see what's causing the momentum here.
Yeah, they're getting investment or an increased investment from Gilead. So it looks like that's what it is, specifically on inflammatory drug of some sort. So
Gotcha.
that's what that is. Keep in mind, this is a foreign company too. It's out of Belgium. So if you look at the daily chart, it's going to have that signature that we usually have of what the foreign companies look like overall.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Now I get it because here I was wondering why. Again, it looks like it's a little choppy here. Here it looks a little better though. You can't tell too much of the foreign company here. But then once you go back, you start seeing some of these days where you see a lot of chops. So, all right, that explains why the daily chart looks a little funky. All right, we'll come back to it. Next, we have SOLY. SOLY is on here. SOLY is up 7.5, 125,000 shares traded. Horrible pre-market action. And we mean horrible because it's not clean. Look at these candles, right? You don't have a nice clean pattern here. It's kind of coming up, coming down, coming up, coming down. So just not too clean at the moment. So the 127 is not creating anything too exciting right now. But let's come back later and see how that turns out. Looking at the daily, daily looks like it has some movements. You have a nice drop. You had a big day a couple of days ago right here. Nice green day. Kind of broke out of this resistance it had here, or came right to it. Didn't break out of it. Came right to it. Broke out of it the last couple of days last week. So this is good. Made a new resistance up here. So it's in an interesting situation now. It can continue this uptrend. You clearly have some levels up here that it can hit. Here, the daily chart starts getting a little funky. See, so you have some clean days, but then you have some really ugly days that just seem very weird. What's the float on this? The way this thing is moving. Oh, it's a low float. There we go. So it is a low float. No wonder you have these weird candles and huge spikes. We're going from 18 here all the way up to 30 bucks almost. So that explains it. So let's bring this down here for the low flow team. We'll put that down there, and then we'll come back to it. All right, guys, so that is all we have on the gappers list. Let's look at our NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers. We have IQ on here. Why is IQ daily looking like this? Not sure why my daily chart is acting a little funky there. Check your IQ. Does it look like that for you as well, Norm, on the daily?
Let me take a look. IQ is banned from my
yeah, this is one guy
my
that does
system.
not trade very well at all.
On the daily is what you were asking?
Yeah, it looks like everybody's getting the same.
Yeah, it's
very weird.
It's real strange looking to me.
Yeah. So here's one thing that's obviously
well,
huge.
they had block trades go through just a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Looks like 3 million shares. Yep.
So you got somebody doing some huge amount there, 3 million shares going through, but the daily chart looks funky. So this is not really in play, guys. Again, this is just one huge block trade that's causing some of them for it to pop up into our scanners today. So we'll see if it gets better. We get something out of it. It'll be interesting to watch. TRNX, guys, as we know, penny stock. FCEL, same situation. These two are usually not tradable. They're always on our list. CAPR. Now this looks like an interesting pre-market action here. You have a nice little flow as soon as the market opened on the pre-market. You can see here it's popping up nicely. Volume 1.6 million shares. Let's look at the flow and see what we got going on. Very low flow, guys. We're talking about 1.7 million shares flow. So this is extremely low flow. Be careful with it. But for the low flow team, this is up 95.7. It is in play for sure today. Looking at the daily, it's been pretty flat for the most part here. Pretty choppy, not doing much. No volume you can see in these areas. Let's look at some days that have volume. Here we have a nice little pop in volume. You can see it kind of sells off here. Does a nice engulfing pattern on the daily. Nice little pop the following day. So anybody caught that, that was nice. And so this is a runner. As you can see, when it gets the volume, it does run. Going back over here, it gapped up. You can see it sells down. So be careful with these type of stocks. Tend to sell down a lot faster than sell up. So just be very, very cautious, as you know. Right now, pre-market action is looking great, looking very nice, climbing here nicely. High of the pre-market 640 at the moment. So we'll come back and see what that looks like in a bit. CLDC. 1.1 million shares. This pre-market doesn't look as great as the one we just saw, CAPR. So you can see here this looks nicer. CLDC not as great. This looks more like a penny stock. Also, it's trading usually under $1. So I'm just gonna bypass this one, guys, today. CLS, also a penny stock. We see this quite often, as you can see. Just to show you, not looking great. We'll skip it. CRZO, 484,000 shares traded, is up 11% today. Not familiar with this one, so I'm going to look up the profile here. It is 88 million shares flow, so that's good. That's tradable. Looking at the daily, what do we have here? Daily looks okay. Okay, we got some levels here of support and resistance, some very clean levels. You see the price action sitting right on a possible line of support and resistance. That's probably where you're getting this resistance right here. This thing is gapping up 11% with some good volume so far, and a decent pre-market action starting from here on. here not looking too great at all. So we just need to get more volume here to create a good pre-market action. Norm, what do we have on this one causing this pop?
CRZO is actually it's a buyout by CPE and CRZO are together. So CPE is going to buy CRZO.
Gotcha. Put CPE here.
It's all stock. It is an all stock deal, so we could get movement as opposed to a cash deal where we wouldn't essentially get much movement at all.
Okay. All right. So okay, cool. So we'll keep it on here. CPE. Let's just look at that one now, since that's part of what's going on. So this one is the one buying, right? Because it's dropping. Usually that's the case. So this one is down 9.7, 9.6, dropping here. Daily looks a little clean, actually. I was gonna say choppy, but once you look at this in the grand scheme of things, you can see a nice little flow here. Got some good levels of support and resistance that we can find. So this could be interesting. What is the flow on this one? It is a lower price stock, trading at around $6. So CPE, but it's a 226 million shares flow stock. So this is watchable. All right, so let's look at Microsoft on our list today. Not a great pre-market action right now. 301,000 shares traded, but the majority is sitting right here in this one candle. So that's not really going to give us a good pre-market activity. Looking at the daily, though, the daily is extremely interesting. As you can see here, just climbing higher, dipped down here a couple of weeks ago, back in the beginning of June, then came back nicely, and now it's just kind of rolled this moving average, and it's at a point where, is this all-time high for Microsoft? It looks like it might be.
So it is, yeah.
Yeah, so this is interesting, guys. This could be a possible for later on today. Right now, doesn't look too great. Just a one huge block trade causing it to jump in our scanners. But this could be a great possible for later on. So we'll throw that on there. Next, we have FLKS, penny stocks. You can see trading under $1. So we'll skip that one. GLPG we have here already. This one has got some movement going on right now. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Next, we have CAPR. We also looked at, this is the low flow for the day that looks very clean at the moment. It looks like it might want to break that 640. So that's interesting. CLDC, also one that's active, but again, it's just not looking too great. It's more of a penny stock, just that broke out of $1. Usually I don't like these stocks. I don't trade them, but usually I don't like the way these trades, they come up over $1, they do all this movement, and then next thing, it just come right back down. So again, just be very careful with these type of low flow stocks that are crawling out of the penny area into the dollar range. So be careful. Again, there's so many ways to trade the markets. I'm not saying don't trade these, but if you are interested, make sure you get the right education to trade stocks like this, because they don't trade the way we trade our regular mid flow to large flow stocks. That's the only thing you have to keep in mind. Don't try putting our strategies into one of these, because they're not going to work. There's people looking out for this type of stuff. You're going to get something that looks like an ABCD pattern, and these guys know you're looking at that for ABCD pattern, and they will slam you. So be very, very careful. All right, so next we have ZSAN up here, not doing much, no activity, no volume. We got one that skipped the line mark, MARK. It looks like it just got some volume right now, causing it to pop up, but only 14,000 shares, so not anything great. ADSXS at the moment, very choppy, not much going on. ATIF also looks like it's just getting some kind of activity happening right now, but just 1,600 shares, not much going on. Let's head down to NTGN. So NTGN up 13%. Again, I saw someone mention this in the chat room as well. Right now, pre-market action doesn't look great, and that's could be mainly because of the volume. Volume is only 76,000 shares traded, so not great volume. Also, look at this daily. When you start seeing some of these candles where it's just not a great flow to it, you want to be careful. This could be very, very choppy. Let's just check what's the profile on this stock is. NTGN. It is a 17 million shares flow, so a little bit on the higher side. So again, just be careful with this one. All right, next we have let's head up here to, what's the last one? NDRA. Not much going on, no volume. Next we have OASN, also a penny stock, no volume. And then we have CRZO, which we're looking at already on here. So again, the daily looks interesting. It's got some good levels here. It's breaking out of this nice area of resistance that it had a couple of the last couple of days. You can see it banging its head there and not breaking out today. So that could be interesting. All right, guys, so that is what we have so far. Norm, I know you're getting yourself back into the routine here. Do we have anything on the SPY or any news for today that we should be looking out for, or business as usual?
SPY was at an all-time high on Friday, and we're opening 0.2% above that. It looks like it's it's trying to go up a little bit from here, broken above the 300 levels. So we've got a nice little breakout on the daily. Um, summer is usually pretty slow. The economic this week is a little bit different. So whenever you guys see the big banks starting to report earnings, which Citigroup, and that's one we'll take a look at in just a minute, Citigroup essentially kicked off the earnings season this morning. And then you've got JPM, Wells Fargo tomorrow, Goldman Sachs is, I believe, tomorrow. Bank of America might be Wednesday. I'm just going off the top of my head, so if I'm off a day or so, I apologize. But so they're really all kicking in, and by Friday we have over 100 companies reporting earnings each day. So we're really kicking in a high gear. Today there's not a whole lot of economic news. There's one piece of info that came out at 8:30, the Empire State Index, but it's not a big mover. As you can see, not much has happened in the last 15-20 minutes. But we get retail sales, import prices, business inventories, housing starts, of course, jobless claims, all kinds of stuff like that, consumer sentiments on Friday. So there's a slew of economic data coming out this week, in addition to stuff ramping up. So I've never actually looked to see how many days it really is in the calendar, but it always feels like the earnings are compressed for the second quarter releases that are done over the summer and the third quarter. So, we've got a few weeks here between right now, mid-July and early-ish August, where we'll actually have some info and some gappers. Then we'll die down again late August into early September before we pick up in earnest for the year, for the actual good trading year. So that's kind of what's going on right now.
Okay, excellent. Good. All right, guys. So let's get into what do you guys have on your end. We went over the gappers list, over the Nasdaq active, Nasdaq gainers. Let's look at what you guys have on your end. Norm, talk to us about your top four. Anything looking good today?
I really haven't had a chance to scan them yet. I saw Facebook was picking up a little bit, so I've got my eye on that. Nvidia traded really well last week. The pre-market is kind of garbage, but with not a lot of volume, but that's not too uncommon.
Right.
Apple's up 1/3%. Roku's essentially flat. So I'd say Facebook's probably the best out of those four. And then, like I mentioned, take a look at C for Citigroup. They reported this morning. They haven't moved a whole lot. They've got so-so volume for considering what the stock is, but it really isn't gapping up too much at this point. I'd also mention Teva, TEVA. They're up on 3.9% on about 560,000 shares, but I think their ATR is too low to hit the scanners for us. So those are a couple that I've got my eye on as well.
Yeah, Teva does look interesting. So yeah, excellent. I see a lot of you guys mentioning C. I'll put C on here as well. We'll find some levels for that. As Norm just mentioned as well, daily looks nice too. It looks like it's breaking out here, so this could be interesting also. All right, anything else, guys? And then we'll look into AMD and MU as well. We'll look into our buddies, see what's going on there. Again, we know they're going to get the volume. Is going to be, are they going to trade well and give us a good opportunity? Look at MU, man. MU's been on a tear, just really finding this great support down here, down what at 32, 31 or so, and then just kind of did not a clean triple bottom, but somewhat of a triple bottom, and then just boom, just took off. Nice little pause action here, picked up some more buyers and went on its way. So hopefully you guys took advantage of that, of this move lately. MU's been trading very, very well. Just be cautious that first 10-15 minutes. They tend to be a little choppy, but then it gets really comfortable. All right, what else we have, guys? Let's look into here. IQ, yeah, we looked at IQ earlier, guys. IQ just seems a little funky right now. I don't think it's in play. Trade. Yeah, it's a huge block trade, and I don't know what's causing our charts to do this. A lot of people are getting this same thing here. I think these now it looks like another few block trades in here today, so I'm not sure if they're the same ones or not.
It looks like the same thing being
Right?
reported over and over for some reason because it hasn't increased the volume. And if you take out that one 3 million share trade, it's only traded 1,000 shares this morning.
Yeah.
So IQ is definitely not something to watch or in play.
Yeah. So IQ is not in play, guys. Next we have NTGN. I think we have that one here, or did I take? No, I took it off, and the reason for that, if I remember, yeah, it's just not a good clean pre-market action, guys. Not anything going on right now, and not much volume. Only 84,000 shares at the moment. We have someone throwing out JD. JD traded nice. I believe it was on Friday. Yeah, this is Friday. JD traded very, very nice. Look at this beautiful ABCD pattern here. You got a bull flag also going on here as well. Nice opening range breakup. Again, just so many different ways to trade this. You know, you got a resistance here, clearly loses it here, and it gives you an opportunity to get in for a short back to VWAP. Just again, sometimes when these stocks are in play at the open, they tend to be in play for the entire day, and this one definitely showed that on Friday. But right now, today is not doing anything, guys. Volume is pretty low. Does not mean that it can get going, but this will be a good candidate for us to find in our scanners. If it pops in today, we can focus in on it. Tesla, let's see what Tesla is doing. At the moment, Tesla, it's got okay volume. Pre-market action is so, but that's normal for Tesla. It usually does not have a good clean pre-market action. Also, another one that's been bouncing back nicely, hitting these moving averages, breaking through resistance. Price action right now is in a very interesting place, and I say that because again, the previous day close is a clear resistance that it broke out of. This morning looks like, right? It's a clear resistance there, so we broke out of this. Are we going to go head up and head towards this level, this next level of possible resistance, or head back down, or just chop, right? So it could be interesting, but right now for one to watch at the open doesn't look great at the moment. All right, so that's Tesla. We have Cross, CORX. Not much volume on this one at the moment. Only 15,000 shares traded. And then looking at the daily got a nice pop here, 5%, but again, just really no activity right now on this one. What else we have, guys? EROS. This one not doing much, guys. It has some volume, 565,000 shares traded, but look at the pre-market action. It's just not clean. Also, I don't like the daily the last couple of days. It's been very choppy between this $1, $1.90 and $1.60. So again, it's just very choppy, doesn't move much. I'll try to avoid stocks that are in this area. I think that is what we have, guys. So we'll come back after we go over the announcements and we go over this list and minimize it, make it make it more manageable. Then we can add more if you guys have anything that looks great by the time we're done. So Norm, take us through the announcements. What do we have for today or this coming week?
Yeah, absolutely. So as we have every Monday, tonight we will have DAS onboarding class 1 in the classroom at 8 p.m. Eastern. Workshop Wednesday, this Wednesday. What do we have, Carlos? Because I think what's posted in the alerts is from last week. Trading and probabilities, is that this week, or was that what you already?
Yep, trading and probabilities. I'll be doing that.
Trading and possibilities. That's in the classroom at noon Eastern, led by Carlos. And don't forget that both rooms will be open, so we'll have live trading going on in the chat room, in the classrooms where we'll have Workshop Wednesday. William had good turnout for his first after hours trade reviews last week, so he's going to do that again. 8 p.m. Eastern Wednesday evening, trade reviews with William, I believe, and I don't know which room, but if that's the chat room or the classroom?
Yeah, I'm not aware, but we'll find out for tomorrow morning and let you guys know for sure.
Find out. Next, YouTube and Facebook Live, Ask Me Anything, Thursday, July 18th. So this Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, will be with Eamon and William. So that'll be exciting to listen to. Couple of other things. Guys, if on YouTube, if you like the content you get, be sure to subscribe. Also, click the little bell next to the subscription because subscribing really doesn't do a whole lot. The bell will give you notifications of when we put out new content. And the reason I say that is because I woke up after traveling all day Friday. I woke up, my normal time, about 4:35 a.m. Saturday morning, and I had a notification that William had posted an interview he did with Jeremy Newsom, who runs another chat room, and we met at Montreal at the Modern Traders Summit, and he became friends with. Excellent video on YouTube. If Abiel could post the link, or somebody could post the link to that, take a look. I watched it with my coffee on Friday morning. It was just phenomenal to watch and listen to. So great insight. They went over a few different things, from not only technical chart patterns to risk management to a very interesting challenge that Jeremy challenged William to. So take a look at that. Yeah, there's discipline as well, Blake. I mean, it really, I think like some people are saying, we put out great content. I agree that I think a lot of the content we have is good. It's also sometimes good to hear other people's perspectives, and Jeremy's perspective on how he manages risk was really interesting. I'm actually kind of trying to think about how to incorporate that in my own. So take a look at that video. It's 37 minutes, somewhere in there, but it's well worth every minute of it.
Yes.
Thank you, Lee.
Absolutely.
Lee just posted it, and I will post it over to YouTube as well. So, and the last thing is, if you are in the YouTube stream and you have not tried out our chat room and would like to, for a discount, you can use the promo code premarket24, no spaces, premarket, and then numbers 24, premarket 24, to try out for a discount. So, Paul, we fully expect to make more interviews, more videos, and stuff of that nature. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
Absolutely.
I agree. I think it was phenomenal. I texted him first thing in the morning after I watched it. It was just awesome to watch. So.
Yeah, I texted him and I told him, hey, I can't wait for this challenge. He's like, oh man, you saw the whole video? I'm like, yes, I did. And I can't wait till you do this, and I want to see it recorded. So, all right, guys, let's, Norm, do we have anything else, or I think that covers it all, right?
I think that's it, man.
All right, excellent. So just two more that were thrown out in the chat room. JB Hunt here. I know his company very well. I used to work with them when I was a manager at Hire. Here right now, no activity, pretty low volume. Daily chart looks interesting though. It's got a nice little flow here, hitting these support levels several times and bouncing back, and now it's at a level of resistance we can break out of. So daily looks great, but as far as watching it for this morning, doesn't look too interesting right now with no activity. Next week,
JB Hunt, I'll just say it usually trades on pretty light volume. They did report earnings, I believe, this morning. But I think their average volume is less than 1 million shares a day, which makes it difficult to trade.
Yeah, and then the other one I wanted to talk on is this one, URG. So this one's on the American Exchange, which again, they tend to trade a little bit different. It's not your regular NASDAQ and NYSE stock. And right now, it's just had a big drop on Friday and not much going on this morning. So, again, has some activity probably on people's radar for what it did Friday, but not really one that trades very well, and also under a buck. It's not a low flow. It's 154 million shares flow, but again, it's just something that doesn't trade very clean. When something doesn't trade as clean as we go through every morning, most likely our strategies won't work on them, right? This is why we filter this stuff out, because we want the best possible edge for stocks that are going to trade well and that our strategies are going to work for. We can't just go for stuff that moves, right? If you start chasing stuff that just moves and has volume, oh man, you're gonna pay big time. So again, just make sure you're looking to your strategies and what your criteria are. So semantic, let's see you guys throwing this out there. A lot going on today. Norm, do we have anything on our radar and what's happening with this one at the moment?
I have not looked at Symantec yet.
Yeah,
it looks like it just started getting news or volume.
Right.
Somebody will probably say something before I'm able even to find out. I'm not seeing anything yet.
Yeah.
So
all right,
I don't know what's caused that move right there.
Yep. So let's go over. We'll throw it on here because this could make this now very active.
Yeah.
So down 12%. Might change now, down 6.
I mean, they've done 500,000 shares in the last 2 minutes or so.
Yeah. Wow, this is interesting too. This had to pop a couple of days ago. Hung out here around 25 and 26, and now you get this huge drop to 22. So we'll keep an eye out. I'm gonna throw that into one of my other screens so I can enjoy the fun as well with you guys. All right, let's get into what we have in this list here. So let's start with X at the top. So X at the moment, again, not doing a lot right now. Volume is still pretty much quiet, 122,000 shares traded. And this is one that can trade very choppy. I'm going to put some levels on here just in case we get something out of it, just to be prepared. High of the pre-market, 1464. Above here, you have a nice level around 1569, 1570. You can mark that down. Towards the bottom, you have previous day close. You have some moving averages. Low of the pre-market right at 1424. So you can mark that down as well. And then below that, you got plenty of other levels of support here. I do like the daily and the fact that we came down here, tested this level one more time, and now we're popping up. If we can get above this 1464, we can possibly have a few areas here that we can reach out to. $15 also here. But right now, guys, not much going on, not much activity. So this would be one that I would look for in our scanners one way or the other, as we can trade it both ways. We do have shares for sure. GLPG is this is one we mentioned is a possible no, sorry, this is not the bio. CP is the bio. So this one's looking great, guys. 19% up, 248,000 shares traded. Oops, let's go back to this. So I do like that. I do like this nice little pop here. I never traded this one before, and usually is a little bit out of my nice comfort price range that I like to trade. Low of the pre-market 164.21. High of the pre-market sitting at 173.53. So we'll mark that down. And then let's see what we have towards the bottom. Or are we at all-time high with this one as well? It's a nice way to go over the all-time high. Reminds me of when Derek Jeter hit his 3,000 hit here. All right, so this is nice. This is an all-time high. I'm gonna just remove this one. There's no levels in between here, guys. No levels up here, no levels down here. The next we have is 145. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but that is all I have on this one here. What we could do on something like this, you can mark down this pop over here, right? You can clearly see that obviously 169 has some kind of areas of resistance here before it breaks out. So you could do 169.20, 164.25, and then your high, which looks like it's about to get broken right now, 173.66. Pre-market action wise, once you zoom in again, and once you take out the gap and zoom in, this looks very clean, very good. So we'll see what we can get out of this one today. ZO, see what we got going on here on the daily. So again, up 9.1. Love the volume, 822,000 shares. High of the pre-market sitting at 1160.67. And the low of the pre-market sitting right where the price action is now at 1146. I'm gonna mark that down. 1146. Oh, we're 1142. All right, we'll let it do its thing. Let's go towards the top. So if we can get back to 1167, we do have some levels here. I like this level right around here. This area, it becomes its resistance here and then support in these 2 days. In between there, you got a lot of chop here. So very difficult to find a very good clean levels when things are choppy like this. We'll try to do the best I can because I do like to have something in between. And the reason why, this is a big move from 1167 to 1232. That's a big move. I don't expect that to happen. I expect to have some resistance along the way, and it looks like the $12 mark is going to be, which is perfect. The whole dollars are usually an area you want to look out for. So if you look at 12, you have an area here of support, and then some days, again, not the cleanest level, some days are opening and closing around that 12, so that's good to have. Towards the bottom, looks like where we're heading to, we do have a level right on here. 11 looks like, again, the whole dollar. You got several days using this as possible support here, support, and then becomes resistance, and then on past that 11, the rest, you got a nice little chunk of areas here, levels, previous day close, highs and lows, all between this $10.50, $10 range. So right now, pre-market action looks very active. It's starting to drop down here. Got some rejections up above. So we'll see where it goes from there. Next, we have CPE. CPE not looking too great. This is part of a buyout as well. This is down 11, almost 12%. We're going to mark some levels, but I'm probably not going to keep this one. Towards the top, you have 588. Then you also have the high of the pre-market at 617, and then you have the bottom 555. Sorry, 550. So mark that down. If we can lose this 550, look at this area 550, also very close to the last support we had back in mid-December. If we lose this 550, are we at all-time low? This will make this even more interesting. If we are there, no, it looks like we poked our head out of there a couple of years ago, right here. 425. So let's mark down 425 as an area. That's the next support we have if we lose this 5 something. A nice big drop there. Other than that, yeah, see this at 425 looks good here. Now I want to get something in between here because again, from 575 to 425, that's a big drop. Look at this nice level here at 474. Now we're going back quite a bit, but it's a good level. You got a nice support here, support there, then it becomes resistance, being, just bouncing around between these two before it breaks out, comes back right down and tests that 479, 480 area again. So plenty of levels here right now. The pre-market action doesn't look great. Yes, we do got some volume. Yes, we do have a nice little drop here, but this pre-market action is pretty flat. But we have our levels ready to go in case this thing does anything exciting. But most likely I'm not going to watch it. Citigroup here. Citigroup is popping up nicely. Got a level right over here at 73. Towards the bottom, you got plenty of levels, highs and lows. Previous day close right in this area where it's been consolidating. You got all those levels there. Do not need to add anymore. See if we can find. And this all-time high, guys. I think someone mentioned that, or no? Nope. Guess not. Wrong stock. So here we have above 73. If we can break out of that clear level over here at 75, and then another one right here at 74. Do not need to add more than that. Look at this level here. Look at this one here as well. And obviously this one right here. So very clean levels you have at that 73.05, 74, and also 75.25. Right now, pre-market action is very choppy, but this is typical for these type of stocks. Citigroup can tend to do this more often than not and still put in a good trading day if it's going to be in play. Right now, it's got good volume. It's heading back down, so it's not up much. It's not hitting our scanners because of that. So this could be a possible. We'll decide later on if we're going to keep this or not. Facebook at the moment, not really much crazy activity. Does look better than all the top four that Norm is watching this morning. So we'll keep it on here, but I'm going to remove, just to make this list shorter, Nvidia. I'm going to remove Apple for now, though Apple has a very nice clean daily, and we're going to remove Roku as well. So looking at Facebook, we'll do some levels for this here. Let's just remove some of the ones we have. So at the moment, if we zoom into our daily, we have the low of the pre-market sitting between some levels already, 202 low of the pre-market. Below that, you have several lows from the last two trading days, and also we got a nice moving average that's been a good support over the last couple of days. So let's just look at, once it did this turn here, you can see this moving average is trending nicely on the daily. So be on the lookout for that. It's coming up under the low of the pre-market, and I think this is all-time high, right? No. I think everything's all-time high because the market's doing so well, but that's not the case. This is not all-time high, guys. Let's zoom in here, trying to find a good level above this 404. Have the pre-market 404.80. I think this one could be a good one here, 208. That's a long way, but this seems like a very clean level. You got several areas of showing support and resistance at that 208.41. All right, now let's look at Teva, what we have going on with Teva. So Teva's got some volume, 691,000 shares traded. This one doesn't move much. You can tell also by the daily chart. It doesn't have great movement, but I do like the daily for some reason. Not sure what I like here, but again, you got a nice area of support here, 822. We broke out of that. Now we're heading back down. Looks like I'm a little short bias on it, but again, have no bias coming into it. Wait for it to see what it does at the open. And if it's actually going to be in play, but it's got some good volume. It is down 4.4. We got some very clean areas of support and resistance here. Since it doesn't move much, I'm going to mark down this area here too, for 848. And the reason why, because these days here, you got them all bouncing back and forth here before they decide to break out. So that could be an area where you can have some kind of a bounce or loss of momentum towards the bottom. Towards the top, you got the highs and lows of the last two trading days. Previous day close, you got some moving averages in here. And again, because Teva doesn't move much and it's a lower price stock, and we can take a little more shares as long as we're managing our risk correctly. 906 looks like an area you want to have. Also, you have a day here for resistance, 2 days showing support, and you also have this day's opening and closing here on the resistance, and also support here as well. Support in this day also. So 906 could be interesting for Teva today. Pre-market action, just take a quick look. Looks okay. You have a nice little pop here, nice little drop. So you are getting a nice flow on it. But again, this one doesn't move as much. AMD, wow, this is pure chop for AMD today. Got some volume, 274, but again, just not really in play at the moment. Just pretty choppy. Now, it's okay to watch this stock. We do watch on a regular basis. If some people like Norm, he has his top four. The community tends to watch AMD and MU because we know we're going to get the volume. Could turn out to be a nice trade. But for me today, I'm going to remove these because right now the pre-market action doesn't look great. We do have levels on these already just because we watch them so often. So keep them on your side list in case something pops up into our scanners. We can tune into them. Let's go back to semantics here. So now we got 2.6 million shares traded. This move just started happening out of nowhere. I mean, if you're sitting up here now, you're waking up this morning, you're not a happy camper. So let's look at the low of the pre-market sitting at 17.95. High of the pre-market basically not even doesn't even matter at this point, 26.48. But before that, you have plenty of highs and lows from this area of consolidation over the last couple of days. Let's look for some levels here. You have, again, this drop has really messed up some of the technicals here, so you got to be careful on that. 22.31 looks like it could be a possible level. This was grinding slowly towards the top, and look how it comes right down to that 17.94, where it seems to have been the last time it has some good support. Putting several tests on here, 1, 2, and then 3 here. So several areas that tested at 17.94 towards the top. This looks like a good level. I'll explain why. 1961. I like the fact that this is the range from this drop here on this day, right? So that's the range. You got the top. You got several days trying to really crack that until they finally do. You can also mark this one up here where you have some change in direction heading back down. You'll also see the loss of momentum around this level as well. Continues to drop, comes right back to the 1794, and again back up to test this 1961, then back down. So again, just this, expect something to happen around this level. Obviously has been tested several times. So that's what we have on this one, guys. Pretty active right now. I'm not sure exactly what the news is. We'll come back to it in a second to see how it ends the pre-market show. So Microsoft has a great daily, guys, but I don't like the pre-market action right now on Microsoft, so I'm going to remove this one. It is hitting all-time high, so that makes it even a little more interesting. All right, last two here. SOLY. SOLY's just kind of selling down now, not really active at the moment, so I'm just going to remove this one. It does have a funky daily chart. It is a low flow stock, guys, so just be very careful with this one if you're going to watch this today. CAPR, what we end up doing here. So yeah, they cracked that 640 high of pre-market we had at that time. Let's get some levels for this. This one looks like a very active low float this morning. We got 707 is the high of the pre-market. We have a pop over here up as high as 751. What do we have above that? So this is a former runner. You can tell here this thing does, when it does get the volume, it does run. Let's get one more level towards the top. I'm gonna put this one here, this 852. You got several areas of resistance, and support. So mark that 852. Then towards the bottom, guys, in case we do a fallen angel, we've seen that type of strategy play out a couple of times. We have 603. We also have this area 643. And then here it gets a little messy. You can see here it's not clean, so very difficult to find a clean level. I'm going to do my best to try to probably get this one here, this 535. So we'll have those for now. Actually, those played out pretty well. 535, you can see here you got the bounce coming right back, test that level. Also the moving average. And you can see once it breaks out of the 603 that we found on the daily, comes back and tests it, and then breaks out of the 643. And then you have your 706 and your 751. Very important on low flow stocks. I think the price action, is very important, guys. So again, if you're trading these type of stocks, don't be too technical on these levels. Make sure you're watching the price action. If it's not going your way right away, be very, very cautious. And risk management, we cannot say that enough how important that is. All right, guys. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have quite a bit today. This is why I'm not going to add AMD and MU, but if they do come up in our scanners, we will definitely take a look at them. We're coming up on 9:18, guys. Thank you guys for joining us on YouTube. We will see you guys tomorrow again. Welcome back, Norm. It's good to have you here. And take care, guys. Have a great trading day.